reflecting on a time when I've felt that sort of sudden pressure or surreal realization that I was in a situation where maybe I was going to lose control was one of my first big alpine climbing trips with a good friend. And prior to this, we'd both done a bit of climbing independently, and we'd used guides, and we were getting comfortable. We were still in our early 20s and still in that really early learning phase of climbing in the alpine environment and moving in what's sort of quite dangerous terrain. But we came to this sort of idea of doing a trip together where we'd charter a plane, we'd get all our gear for a couple of weeks worth of food, and have this plane drop us off at the top of a glacier, spend a week or so climbing up there, and then walk out, which was about 30 odd Ks along one of the longest glaciers sort of in the temperate world there. So I still remember, packing up this gear into the plane. It was a little fixed wing, 4-seater, and it's taking off, and the pilot's obviously doing it all the time, and he's pretty blasé about the whole thing. But it's talking about a trip he'd taken up earlier that month where a number of the guys had died. And he'd sort of pointed it out again in a very laissez-faire way of saying, "Oh, that's, I think, where they came unstuck over there." Which for me sort of just, it all dawned on me what we were doing. And he circles around and he lands on this beautiful expanse of snow that's big enough for a plane to land and take off on again. Helps us unload our gear and says, "Well, see you later, boys. Good luck with it." And then putts off. And the way these guys have got to take off is sort of get a bit of speed up along the glacier and then almost drive off the edge of the cliff and then catch themselves, and off he goes. And so as he left, he sort of circled back around, dipped his wings at us, and then disappeared. And I still remember to this day looking at my mate thinking, "Geez, we're in deep here." We've really transitioned from the idea at the pub, having a think about it, to now this lived reality where we're entirely responsible for, at the very least, getting ourselves out of here in a week's time, and getting rescued. It's going to be hard. It's going to be embarrassing, or at worst, you're going to die in this environment. And so that's a time for me that I still think about. It's 15, 20 years ago now, where suddenly sort of this dawning realization of pressure and trying to translate your theoretical skills or the skills that you've got into suddenly what was a much more serious and challenging situation.